So in this tutorial, we're going to look at the useActionState hook. This is a new hook introduced in React 19. So let's get started. So the useActionState is a hook that allows you to update the state based on the result of a form action. So let's look at the previous and new way. And in the previous way, let's say I submit a form and it increments the value of this input field. See? But to do something like this, let's look at the code. I have to create a useState. I have to create a function that on submit ends up triggering, and I need to prevent the form from submitting, and then I need to update the state. First get the previous state and then do something with that. For example, take the previous number and increase it by 1. So this is what you needed to do to submit a form and then update a state that you're passing in, right? So now what you need to do, let's go into the new way, and as you can see, you can do this exact same thing, but you have a useActionState hook, and this has two things. One is a state and one is a form action, and this takes in two things as well, two arguments. That is a function, and the second one is a initial state. So my initial state is 0 and the function is this right here, and I'm just returning the previous state and incrementing by 1. This function takes in two arguments. One is the previous state and the second one is the form data. Now I'll give you another example, but right now let's see how this works. So in the action, I just pass in the form action, which is this, and then in my value I just get the updated state, and then by pressing the submit button, okay, I'm submitting this form action gets triggered and the state updates thanks to this function that is in this. And that's how this useActionState works. This triggers, updates the state with the return, and that's the value you end up seeing here. So let's change this a little bit. Let's make this a text. Let's call this first name, okay, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna say .f name, okay. Now instead of 0 being the initial state, I will pass in an object with now you see this, right? The form data. I'm going to use this, and in this I'm going to take in the name, which is first name and last name, okay. I'm gonna put them here, okay. So what is going to happen is when I submit this data, right, I forgot to add the onChange event to get the value of my inputs, so I'm just going to add that quickly. I'm going to quickly add a card so that I can display the first name and last name. As you can see, I updated my fields, and when the data got submitted, the hook updated and it got the values from my input fields, and it just ended up displaying them here. But you could get the values and then do something with them, like send them to an API. So this is how the useActionState hook works, like sending data to an API and then displaying that data by updating the useActionState hook's state and then displaying all of that data here. I've just done something simple and displayed the name, but you could display some kind of message like the data has been submitted, or this is the product you ended up requesting. Like, let's say you had a search bar and you sent the data and got some products. You could just display all of those products here. See? So this is how the use action state can work for you. So I hope you like this tutorial. Like and subscribe for more tutorials like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.